But the mental fatigue, I think, is harder to overcome.
A mental vacation is the most expensive kind. It's better to try to really grind it as hard as you can. Just go for it and get yourself into orbit, because then once you're there, it's easier to sustain yourself there than to take marginal levels of effort. You have to really drive yourself regularly. You have to get up, go prospect, and wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And like David Goggins says, when you get to about 40%, from that point on, it's not your body's not tired, it's your mental tired.
Yeah,
right?
True. Yeah.
Well, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different.
So what needs to change?
The mentality, the mindset is
when does that change need to occur?
When? It should occur right away. But
you're right, but at least the day before.
The night before?
For sure.
Well, yeah. But
I'll give you an example of this. So when I was severely overweight, when I was really overweight, right? Staying in was typical.
Yeah.
Right. And so what had to happen was I had to have certain things set up where if I didn't get out of bed, alarm clocks would be blaring throughout the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as an example, this morning we had to get up pretty early today to get here. The day before yesterday, so last night, I had my shirt, my pants, my socks, my shoes, everything set aside. My morning tea, everything's ready to go.
Yeah.
Then my bag packed so I can grab it, get out my house.
Yeah.
Right. These are all advantage stacking techniques. Right. So when I was training, I had a little plastic cupboard in the garage that had socks, 3 pairs of shoes, my underwear, my sweats, all the different things in the garage with a case of water bottles on top of it.
Yeah.
Because rather than trying to wake up in the morning, fumbling, trying to look for my shoes, waking up my wife, having her pissed off, having all these other things that can take place that would be really sucky, right? My alarm clocks, like lucky my old boss was a Navy SEAL, so he had this thing that he used to tell us was like, you have an alarm clock, you have a mechanical one, so you can't blame the power going out, and then you put the other one in the garage. And the one in the garage was 5 minutes later. So I knew that I had to get out of bed, because if the 5-minute one went off, my son's alarm would go off. And my son's alarm goes off, my wife can hear it, she's going to be pissed at me.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to get up, right? So you have to set up these failure mechanisms that failure doesn't become an option.
Yeah.
That starts the day before.
Okay. Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So it starts the night before, the day before.
Well,
getting it prep.
I guess you wouldn't say that necessarily the day before. Is you just pre-set up mechanisms to allow you to do it. Like a good example is meal prepping.
Yep. True.
Right? If you just get up willy-nilly and eat whatever you want, having those things.
Yeah.
And that will prevent you from having the fatigue, because the fatigue is being inefficient. It's like walking through snow without getting your snowshoes on. Like if you have things set up in such a way, then it becomes actually very efficient, very streamlined. The fatigue really comes from the drag of inefficiency.
Yeah. But another way to look at mental fatigue too is that overthinking.
Yeah.
Overthinking of a lot of things, like, I got to get up, I got to prep my meals, I got to go to the gym, I don't know which outfit to wear, I just, I have work, I have this, I have that, I have all these things going on, and I'm already tired before I even start the day.
Yeah, where do you begin?
Yeah. So what happens is that leads into you not wanting to take that first step, because a lot of overthinking turns into that mental fatigue, because it's like, I have so many things to take care of in one day, and I don't know if I'll be able to get through it. Therefore, I'm not going to take that first step. Therefore, I'm just going to stay in the bed and just not do anything. And so you get so tired before you even start the day. But it's just like you said, mental preparation, having the things set up the day before, the night before. And then the other thing is tying into that, what you're saying is that just take one step at a time. One step at a time, moment by moment. And my mom, she still tells me to this day, she's like, you can only take a bite of an elephant, or you can eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Right. It's an analogy or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to actually do it. Right. But
yeah,
it's just one bite at a time. And so when you realize you can only do, if you have 10 things to do in a day, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to aim for 3 or 4, and you stack those wins mentally, that's going to tell you, hey, I've done it. And that's why I always stress the fact of crossing things out or adding a check to it.
Yeah.
Because mentally that brings you up.
Yeah.
And it's not bringing you down.
Yeah.
So overcoming that mental fatigue starts with, like you said, preparation, right? And then saying, okay, I have 10 things that I need to get done. However, let me just knock out 4 real fast and celebrate that and then keep on going.
I was going to say, just knock it down to 3.
Yeah.
Simple 3. It's funny that you bring that up because my uncle actually shared this with me a long time ago. So when I was in the Army, I went to basic training.
Yeah.
And, I was always, like anybody else, you get really so stressed out about what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
And so my uncle, he's in for almost 30 years. And he told me, he goes, it's really simple. Have your tennis shoes and sleep in your sweats.
I've done that.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, all you have to do is literally get up, put on your tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Right? And then he goes, and because you're sleeping in your sweats, you won't need to sleep in your bed. And I was like, okay. He goes, you sleep on top of the bed.
Yep.
And I was like, all right. And he goes, that's one less thing you have to make.
Yep.
You just smooth it out.
Yep.
And you get up.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. So he goes, go to the PX, get yourself these little bungee cords with little hooks.
Yeah.
And I want you to take your blanket and I want you to bungee cord underneath the blanket. Like hook it. So that way it's holding that bed nice and tight. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is get up, put them shoes on, and go.
Yep.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Guess what, bro? Think about that now in basic training.
Yeah.
All I got to do is literally roll over, put my shoes on, walk downstairs. Who's first in formation?
Who's first what?
Who's first in formation?
You are.
This guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's the last guy in formation?
You are.
No, well, the other guys, right? Because they're sitting there trying to get ready for, shower in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting all the
now
gear
you're talking
out.
about other people. Okay,
yeah. All this hustle and bustle. They're trying to make their bed. All this. And then meanwhile, drill sergeant's coming out yelling the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 stressing them out. And I'm down at the bottom, half asleep, just standing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just waiting.
Yeah.
Best advice I ever had, bro.
That's dope. Yeah. And so I always get asked, because when I do my drink, right, when I'm taking the Udamonte and I pour it in my bottle, 2:45 a.m., post it every day.
Yeah.
Right. One thing with that is the fatigue for me mentally doesn't kick in because now there's accountability. I have to wake up every day and show the world that I'm still doing it consistently at 2:45 a.m.
Yeah.
And if I slip one time, people are going to be like, aha, got you. Right. And then it's going to give them a reason to slip. So with that,
he bleeds.
Like, oh my gosh, he woke up at 2:46.
Right. He's immortal.
Then it's just like, so what happens is that when there's times where I don't want to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just want to sleep in bed, but I realize I'm accountable to so many people.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, I keep that in my head, and this is how you can solve that mental fatigue. Yes, we're still going to be tired. Yes, we still have a bunch of stuff running through our head. But the thing is this, is when you realize that you have other people that you're being held accountable to, you don't really think about being so mentally tired because you have to finish. You have to cross that task off. You have to check that box.
And one thing I would tell you is a verbiage change. Instead of saying, I have to, I get to.
Yeah, that's true too.
I get to work out.
Yeah.
I get to wake up and walk.
True.
I get to go to the gym. I get to eat healthy.
Yep. Agreed. 100%. I've heard that. And I like that because it's a privilege. It's an opportunity for us to do it. Right? Like I get to see my kids. I get to go to my car. People, it's more complaining, negativity.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm still in this same car. It's like, no, you get to get into the car, drive. You get to use your cell phone.
Well, you hurt your back before, right?
Plenty times.
What was it like when you couldn't pick up your daughter?
Getting those opportunities can help overcome that mental fatigue.
When I talk to myself a certain way, it motivates in a certain way. Picking up one of these little tools is better than adding one more to do. How you're speaking to yourself.
Okay.
As soon as you start hearing that bitch voice, I
Yeah.
don't have to. I get to.
Yep. Now you know what you're going to do. It's something about crossing it off, stacking that win.